Hi, Stephanie Toman here. I'm going to do another set of videos. This one's about the main and subforms form wizard, and it's part of the syllabus for the ICDL Advanced ICT Qualification Database software using Access 2016, 2019, Office 365, and I'm using Office 365 to demonstrate, just to show really how similar they really are. So these are the areas that we'll be looking at. It's a smaller part of forms, but then we'll be following up with another video about forms and controls. So this is about how we can set subforms within main forms. Okay, so we can keep lots of information together. Okay, so I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to use the contacts database from the software. They've been provided with your materials to demonstrate this first one. So just as we can add a sub data sheet to a table, we can also do a subform within forms, so within a main form. So this is how we're going to do this. So we're going to the create, and in the create tab I'm going to use the form wizard. So this one instead. We've been using this query design quite a lot. So in the form wizard, it brings up a wizard that's going to help us to do this. So the first table we're going to look for is the people. So we're going to take over every field apart from the contact ID. So you could take them over one at a time like that, or you could take them all over and then click on the contact ID and just take that one back. And that satisfies the fields that we need for that. The other thing we're going to do, the other table we're going to look at is the meetings table. So if we click on the meetings table, we're going to take over the date, the subject, discussed, and next contact. So there's different ways of taking these over. You can either use the buttons in the middle, or you can just double click. Lots of different ways to do everything, as you know. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go to the next button, click on there. And what we must make sure is that we have it by people and not by meeting. Okay, so we're going to make sure that we've got that and make sure that it's a form within a subform, not a linked form. So we're happy with that, go to the next. Happy with it in a datasheet view, but you could change that if you wish. And then next, and you could, if you wanted to, change the names at this stage. Otherwise, just leave them the same, and it will open the form to view or enter information as we finish. So there you can see what we've done. So we've got our main form up here, so we can tab through as we would before. And if you keep tabbing, it'll actually take us down to the meeting information connected to that record. And then it would tab through there. We could go across to the next person, and you can see all of the information regarding that record at the top. In the lower, you can see the meeting information connected to the other information, which looks like contact info. So you can go to the last one, you can create a new record. You can put, as long as you put something in there, you can put in information with regard to that. You can go back to the very beginning. So you can jump around, and if you're in here, this also has its own set of records that will affect that. So they're connected, but it doesn't really matter where you are when you click them, as long as you know which record you're looking for. So that's a way that we can do a subform within it. And what you'll see is the records for navigation from the subform and the main form. So you've got your records here, as we said, and records here, depending on which way you wanted to look at it. But they both act independently, but also together. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at the adding a subform into a main form without using the form wizard. So we're going to create both forms in the normal way and choose one as the main form and use the subform or sub-report button to add the other as a subform. So let's have a go at that. Okay, so this method of main and subforms. We're going to use Computer Shop to show examples, demonstrate. So what we're doing is we're going to open up the computer data entry form and the repair subform. So these are both forms that have already been created earlier. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go into the design view on the computer data entry, which is going to be our main form. So into the design view there. This brings up the form design tab. If it doesn't, that's where you're going to find the controls that we need. So we've got our expand our controls and make sure that the computer use control wizard is on. Okay, so it's on as it is. There's our sub-form sub-report. There's lots of things here. You can hover on them to see what they are and how they can be used within those forms. So if we click on that, then go down beneath the address, the final field that's in the list, click on there and it should activate a wizard. So on this wizard, we're going to use an existing form and we're going to make sure that it's the repairs that we're going to be using within it, okay, which is the one we had earlier there. So if we then click on the next, it takes us through a process. We do want the subform as repairs subform, so we are going to do that, and we've got choose from the list. So if we go next, and then we're naming it repairs subform, we're quite happy with that name, and then we finish, and then what it does, it actually puts the stuff in it, and if we go back to form view, we can now see that subform in there, and as before, it will work as it is there, and then our main form will work that way. And you can see both are changing. You can change things if you wish. In the layout view, you can make things slightly bigger. It might be better actually in design view to do this, so you could sort of go to these little things here and change them, and then make them slightly bigger, and you can change how it looks, etc., if that's what you want. So that's the one where you're using existing forms and you're using the wizard control to do it. There's another way, and the next way is to do it manually. So let's look at that one and see how that's done. Okay, so we're going to do one manually without using the wizard, subform, main and subform. We're going to use this, we're using the CIA database this time, and we're going to open the orders form. Make sure we're in the forms, you can easily get into the tables by mistake. So we're going to open that in design view. And click on that, and then it opens up. So here's the grid that we've got, and what we want to do is want to make sure that before we add any other form, we want to make sure that that wizard, control wizard, is off. Okay, so it is, it's not indicated as being on. So we're quite happy with doing that. So what we can do is use the subform sub-report button here. As before, we're going to drop it under the file, under the last item label on the form. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do things for ourselves. So if we click in there and make sure we're in there, if we go to the property sheet on the, just to indicate it, make sure it's clicked, that's it, into the property sheet, which is in the form design, there it is there, so you can click along there if you're not sure. And then what we've got is we've got a child's name, and we've got some things that we need to change. We've got the source, what we're bringing in, which form. So we can change the child name in 13 in a minute, but the source object we're looking for is we're going to look for the order details to come in. So we've got the orders, but we want the order details to come in on the subform. Make sure that the link master fields are the order ref, okay, which is this one here, and in the linked fields the same. So what we got is the change in the source object, bringing the new subform, and then you've got the making sure that the master fields, both of them, are okay. So once we've done that, we can close the property sheet. And then what we can do is we can resize it if we wish. If you've got a ruler, you can resize it accordingly to what you feel that it needs. Well, that's the sort of thing. Have a Control Z, take that off, make sure I'm on these little things here. Let's done it again. Control Z. See if I can get it from a corner. It might be a bit easier. Yeah, we're just getting no crusting, taking it out just a little bit more so it sits okay and we can see everything. We can delete that label there because we don't really need it. It's a subform. We know what it is. And so we can get rid of that. We don't need a label as such. If we go into the ordinary view now, you can see the two, as we've done before, you've got the records that are there on the main form, and then you've got the records on the subform working beautifully together as well. So the order form with the orders, and then the order details of both have got an order ref within them as well. Okay, so that's how you can do it with without using a wizard, so it's possible. And then the final one that we're going to do is the linking forms. So we can do that next. Okay, so we're going to look at the linking forms. So instead of creating a form with a subform within it, you can actually have two separate forms and have them linked. Really useful if you've got one that's got a large amount of information and related data can be then put into a linked form so it doesn't clutter the main form up too much. So we're going to do this together. So if we look at the contacts and open that up, we're going to use this to show the example. So we're going to click on create and we're going to use the form wizard as we have before if you've done some of these sessions earlier. And we're going to drop down to the people's table and we're going to take everything over except the contact IDs. We'll use this one to take that one back. And then we're going to use the meetings, which sort of done this sort of thing before but on a slightly different way of completing it. So we're doing linking forms this time. So we've got the meeting and you can take them over whichever way you wish, but we're going to leave those two ID fields there because we don't really need them. Okay, so it's not on by people automatically or by default, then please make sure it is. And this time, instead of using the form within subforms, we're going to click on the linked forms and you can see how that's going to pan out. So you can see the fields on the top main linked form, and then you can see the further details on the other linked form. Okay, so that's the ones we're going to use. So now if we go to the next, we'll name this one as people linked, so we can just add the linked, and then the meetings form is quite happy to have that stay as a meetings form, and we're going to have it open up automatically as it's done before by using that option there and finish. Okay, so here we have, if you get the problem with something like a heading over the top, if you go into design view, you can fix that. It's sitting on the linked button. So you could take maybe that heading over that way. You can sort of like posh this up a little bit as well by using lots of the formatting features that you've got within here. But for now, we'll just stay as we are. So we'll go back to the form view. So now if we're in a particular record, if we click on the meetings, we can get the related linked record to it. So we can click along, find another record, click on the link, and you can get the meetings connected to that. So that's linked forms and really useful with large amounts of information. So that's the final one in this section, and I may see you in other sections that I will be producing. Thank you.